Hey guys, welcome back here to Intuitive Angling. Guys, today I want to talk about the elephant in the room regarding the upcoming, class of younger anglers that have dominated the sport over the past 2 or 3 years. We saw it at the Bassmaster Classic last week, saw it throughout the year, saw it last year at the Classic. It's just, been a complete transformation in terms of the age demographic that excels in fishing. I believe it was, hadn't been that long ago, maybe 5 or 10 years ago, like the average age of the angler in the Bassmaster Classic was close to 40 years old, and now it's into the 20s, largely as a result of forward-facing sonar. But there's one element about this that I want to talk about today, I want to address, that I call it the elephant in the room. And a lot of this was brought up, I don't know if you guys had a chance to see Steve Chapman, his YouTube channel, Get Your Fish On. Steve did a video sort of like talking about the younger anglers and why, the attitude people have about them. Really an excellent video. I'll link it in the description of this video, but that sort of like got me thinking about one of the things that people don't talk about with this topic. So we're going to get into that in today's episode here. And also, guys, thank you very much for everybody that's taking time to subscribe here at Intuitive Angling. Use all the links I put in the video's description, man. If you guys like the content here and you're not a hater of the channel and you like what I talk about, great way to support the channel is, guys, just going into the description of my videos and using those links, like my Tackle Warehouse link for your tackle purchases and all the different products I have in there. And also, guys, if you do watch the videos on the TV, you can't get into that description. You have to have it on your phone or your computer. So anyway, just really appreciate that. Thank you from me and my family very much. Okay, now, first of all, I've always got to preface this because there's a bunch of boneheads out there that always think that I'm dogging on younger anglers, and I hate younger anglers, and I criticize them. I've never said a bad word about young anglers. I talk about how they were forced to use this technology by the tournament organizations. I've never said anything bad about it. So if you're one of those goobs out there that think that I villainize young anglers, just stop it because you don't know what you're talking about. I love young bass anglers. I came up as a young angler myself with the passion and the desire that these guys have. I get it. I understand it. But one of the things that Steve was talking about in his video, in his Get Your Fish On video, was the fact that, not only are these younger class of anglers, really adept at technology and they've embraced it and they've used it, which sucks that they've been forced to do that, because the only reason they're doing that and that they have to do that is the tournament organizations like Bassmaster and MLF have not stood up and, put a stop to this. So they have forced these young anglers to do this. But then Steve started talking about in his video was the fact that, these young guys that are still in school and in their teens and 20s are spending 200 and 300 days a year on the water fishing. This is the elephant in the room I want to talk about, which is money. Okay, now, I know what it's like to be in school and come from a family that, doesn't have extra money to spend on whatever. In my family, got our bills paid and everything, but if I wanted something, I had to work for it myself, which I did. I mean, when I wanted my first boat, I got a job at a restaurant bussing tables and washing cars, and I spent like $800 on my 16-foot flat bottom with my 9-horse motor that I bought at a rummage sale that I bought for myself because I wanted it. You don't see that today, because here's what I want to talk about that nobody talks about when you're talking about the transformation of the sport into younger anglers. There's more money. The younger anglers, and I'm not saying across the board because nothing is 100%. The majority of the younger anglers coming up right now obviously have some type of they have some type of financial backing to be able to afford to do it. So let me talk about how this is. Let's just say, and I'm not pointing fingers to anybody here, I'm just talking a generic reality across the board, which cannot be denied as much as some people may want to deny it. Let's say that you're an 18 or 19 or 20-year-old dude that just loves to fish and you're ate up with it. And you're in school, you're in high school or you're in college. Okay, number one, you've got to have the money to go to college. And then number two, if you're going to compete at the level of dominance that you see the anglers are right now, the young anglers, you have got to have all the good equipment. You can't go out there in a 14-foot flat bottom with a 50-horse motor on it with a 2D sonar. If you go to a lot of these high school and college tournaments, you're seeing these guys are in 60, 70, 80, $100,000 bass boats when they're 20 years old. It's not cheap to go fishing. It's just like, Steve made a comment in that video. It's like these guys are fishing 300 days a year. Guys, do you know how much money it costs to fish 300 days a year? Think about it. Not only that you got your boat and truck you have to pay for, you got your tackle, you got the insurance, you've got what it costs to go fishing. Every time I go fishing, guys, even if it costs me $100 bill every time I go fishing. So how is it? Somebody asked me this and somebody addressed this question. I'm not criticizing, I'm just making an observation here. So for you thick skull types out there, don't say I'm accusing anybody. I'm making an observation here that I would like an answer to. If you're 18 or 19 or 20 years old and say you're in college and you've got an $80,000 bass boat and you've got a pickup truck to pull it with and you don't have a job and you fish 200 days a year that costs tens of thousands of dollars just on its own, not including the entry fees that you pay. And then say, for example, you're 18 or 19 or 20 and you want to enter the Bassmaster Opens to qualify the elite. You're talking about tens of thousands of dollars to do that. And you don't have a job because you're in school and you're fishing 200 or 300 days a year. Where does that money come from? That is the elephant in the room. It obviously comes either from family money or some type of independent wealth or some type of a subsidy somewhere with that. This is the elephant in the room that I'm talking about in terms of sort of like a discrimination against younger anglers that don't have money. I know what's that like. I went through that. I didn't have any money. I had to work if I wanted a lure, I had to go mow grass to pay for it. I didn't have anybody giving me, to do that. And here's the problem that I have with that is that Bassmaster and MLF have not tried to make this playing field level amongst the younger anglers that are coming up. I used an example one time. I've talked about this before, but it's a perfect illustration of this. I became friends with this 17-year-old kid that was from North Carolina several years ago, and he would message me all the time. This dude was ate up with fishing like you can't believe. He knew every person in fishing. He could tell me who finished in the top 10 in the 1978 Bassmaster Classic. This guy, I've never seen anybody so ate up with fishing. But he was from a single parent family. He lived with his mom. He didn't have a dad. They didn't have any money. The only thing the dude wanted to do was be a professional fisherman, and his mom didn't have enough money to buy him a boat or, do the things that people do that you see today, that these guys are excelling when they're 18, 20 years old on these tournaments, fishing 200 days a year. If he wanted to go fishing, he had to go, fish a farm pond or, wade a creek or something like that. But he was ate up with it, and he simply could not afford it. Now, there's a lot of families out there like this that they have kids that are 17, 18, 19 years old that love to fish, but the parents just can't do it. And there's nothing wrong with that because it's tough, guys. The economy sucks right now. It's tough, for people just to pay their bills, let alone having any type of discretionary income, to help kids out with their fishing. So what this has done, especially when you bring the electronics part in it, because all these dudes that are excelling, all of them, I don't know a single one of them that has excelled to the top level without forward-facing sonar. If there is, tell me, because I don't know of anyone that has. You've got these kids that are excelling with technology, which costs a lot of money to have on the boats. So it's created this financial elitism within the younger angler class that has been perpetuated by the tournament organizations. And this is not fair to everybody out there that loves to fish, kids that love to fish, that want to be competitive in fishing. And it doesn't exist in any other sport, guys. Let's say, for example, you're a kid that loves to play football, but your parents don't have any money at all. If you go to the football team, there's not any type of discrimination because your parents don't have money in football, but there is in bass fishing. And here's how it can be fixed. The tournament organizations have got to start putting equipment limitations on these boats to at least, it's not going to fix the problem completely, but at least it will help the problem as far as allowing anglers to have a level playing field. If you don't have the access to that technology or whatever. It just would help that tremendously. So back to Steve's video that he did. Steve was making the point where these anglers, they work their butt off. They're on the lake 200 or 300 days a year. They're ate up with it. They don't have girlfriends. They don't do anything, but they've got money. That's the thing about it. It's like there is so much that you can do in life, guys, if you have money that allows you to do that if you wouldn't have money. It's like, okay, let me go back to earlier in my career. I'll give you a prime example. Every tournament that I ever fished early on in my career for many, many years, every tournament I was under this tremendous financial pressure. It's like, okay, I have got to make a check in this tournament or I'm not going to be able to afford to go to the next tournament. Or it's like, if I don't make a check in this tournament, I don't know what I'm going to do. If I don't win this much money, I'm not going to have enough money to pay for my entry fees. It was constantly on my mind. And there's a lot of you guys can know what that's like. Imagine if you were in a financial position and you were 20 years old where you didn't have to worry about that. It doesn't matter how you did in a tournament. You could go to the next one. It didn't matter if you had a bad year. You had enough money to fish next year too. This is the sort of like the unlevel playing field that I'm talking about. There are a lot of anglers, and they're becoming more and more anglers out there today that do not have that financial distraction because they come from money. And when you have somebody like that versus somebody that's all they think about is money, and they may have the same talent level and skill level and dedication and work ethic, but that creates this unlevel playing field. And that's the elephant in the room that we need to talk about. And again, if you're one of those parents out there that have helped your kid and you gave them a new boat and you set them up with electronics, I'm not calling you a bad person. I love my kids more than anything. I get it. You want your kids to be successful and happy, but that's not the point of what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the fact that in the big picture, in the overall scheme of this whole thing about younger anglers, taking over the sport and pushing the veterans out of the sport, you can't discount the fact that money plays in it. You can't do it. And if you try to take that out of the discussion, it's not fair. Because I talk to a lot of people out there that are in this position that I'm talking about that love it and they just cannot afford it. So I think that's something that needs to be addressed more, and I think the tournament organizations need to take steps to sort of make that a little bit more fair across the board. There's a lot of different things they can do with it, but the situation we have right now, we are creating this new paradigm shift in bass fishing, where it's the people that have the disposable, more of an unlimited income are the ones that are being able to stay out there and fish. And I've seen this throughout my whole career about so many guys that are the talent level that they have is like Kevin Van Dam level talent level, but they can't do it. They can't afford it. They can't afford to have 2 or 3 bad tournaments. They got bills to pay. They got obligations. They have jobs that don't create that type of discretionary income. So in any sport out there, you cannot call any sport a true professional sport if there is money involved in it that influences the level of competition, which we have right now. So anyway, guys, let me know what you all think about it. And again, for all you goobs out there that think I hate young anglers and I'm trying to dog them, I'm not. I love them. I want all of them to be able to have that opportunity on the equal level. So just one of those things we need to deal with in the sport. One of the many things we need to deal with. So let me know what you guys think. See you.